friends, his community, and the people around him. His life reflects the values that we strive to instill in our students: compassion, service, and responsibility to others.
Is one of those values repeatedly stalking and attempting to interfere with law enforcement operations? Because if it is, then yes, absolutely, Alex Pretti embodied those ideals. New reporting this afternoon from CNN's Priscilla Alvarez indicates that this Saturday's shooting was not Pretti's first encounter with law enforcement agents in Minneapolis, that in fact, he has been apparently stalking ICE agents as part of the well-coordinated Signal group. And in fact, a number of eagle-eyed internet users have found what they believe to be Alex Pretti's Signal call sign on that big chat that was coordinating the anti-ICE response in Minneapolis. Alvarez reported today that, in fact, Pretti was so violent in a previous encounter with ICE that it took 5 agents to take him to the ground, and that Pretti suffered a broken rib.
Now, in this earlier incident, he stopped his car after observing ICE agents chasing what he described as a family on foot and began shouting and blowing his whistle. Pretti later told one of these sources that 5 agents tackled him and one leaned on his back, appearing to leave him with a broken rib. According to this source, and I'm quoting here, that source said, quote, "That day he thought he was going to die." Now, Pretti was later given medication that is consistent with treating a broken rib, according to records reviewed by CNN. Sources also say that he was known to federal law enforcement, though it's unclear whether it was this incident or another with federal agents that they knew of him. It's also unclear whether the officers who tackled him on Saturday knew who he was.
That Priscilla Alvarez from CNN.com. Now, this fits in with earlier reporting that Pretti's own parents were basically pleading with him to not get involved in a violent confrontation with ICE officers. Now, this definitely does check. Is it possible that a week ago they were made aware of the earlier incident with their son? Maybe he told them, maybe a family member. I saw his sister was out today blasting the, quote, misinformation about her brother, whom she called a hero. What is abundantly clear is that Alex Pretti was violating federal law not once but twice in attempting to assault or resist or impede a federal officer. As we established yesterday, that is a direct violation of 18 U.S. Code Section 111. In relevant part, whoever forcibly assaults, resists, opposes, impedes, intimidates, or interferes with any person while engaged in or on account of the performance of official duties shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. Rather obviously, on multiple occasions, Alex Pretti was violating that exact statute. If it can be established that he was part of this Signal chat, he would also be in violation of 18 U.S. Code Section 372, conspiracy to impede or injure an officer. That reads in relevant part, if 2 or more persons conspire to molest, interrupt, hinder, or impede an officer in the discharge of his official duties, each of such persons shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 6 years or both. Not only that, Renee Good, who was very obviously positioning her car along with her wife in such a way as to block the road from ICE agents whom they knew were following them, she was also very obviously guilty of both of those federal statutes. In fact, since it only takes 2 people to form a conspiracy, even if Renee and Rebecca Good were not part of that Signal chat, although it seems very likely that they were, and they were very clearly there with other people, other cars in some sort of procession, stalking and impeding ICE officers. If it was just those 2, they would be part of a conspiracy. And since Alex Pretti was in the earlier event, apparently with other people attempting to impede ICE operations, then he would also be guilty of that second statute. Now, does James Lyerly, the president of the Green Bay School Board, still believe that Alex Pretti embodies the ideals of the Green Bay School District? Maybe he does, because what a small world this is. Do you know who James Lyerly is married to? Yesterday's unhinged liberal of the day, Dr. Kristen Lyerly, who is an OBGYN in the Green Bay area. She also identifies herself as a talk radio host on the Civic Media Network. I still have no actual evidence that she does a show. I have never heard her show. I have never heard of her. I have never seen any schedule, including her on it, but I'm just going to take her word for it that she is also a liberal talk radio host. Now, what she did was to tweet and delete a post on X in which she said that she had it on good authority. A very well-placed source told the quote-unquote good Dr. Lyerly that ICE had booked up to 100 rooms at the Hilton Hotel in downtown Milwaukee. This was completely and totally false, and she deleted the tweet. This was an attempt to, yes, dox, interrupt, hinder, or impede any officer on account of the performance of their official duties. What if it was true, which I am led to believe it was not, based on much better sources than the ones that Dr. Lyerly allegedly has, that ICE had never booked the downtown Hilton hotel rooms. There have been rumors for some time now that ICE was going to turn tail and run out of Minneapolis and instead go right down to Wisconsin, where there was going to be a massive ICE operation here. This seems to me to be a great deal of fear mongering. We don't actually have a big illegal immigrant population in the state of Wisconsin, and I have heard no evidence to suggest that there is a large scale ICE operation or any sort of immigration enforcement operation on par with what's going on in Minneapolis or any other city. Yes, there are large scale ICE operations going on, not just in Minneapolis, but also in cities across the country. Oh, you haven't heard about them? Because there isn't the large scale effort to impede or to violently assault those officers like there is in Minneapolis, because of the constant, and I mean constant, provocation of leadership. Leadership of the Democratic Party, not just from the governor's mansion in Minnesota, Tim Walz, also the mayor's office, and Democrats all across the country. But something interesting has happened over the last 24 hours. The exact same Tim Walz, who on Sunday was comparing ICE agents to Nazis hunting Anne Frank and getting himself a sharp rebuke from the Anne Frank Museum in Amsterdam, he also completely changed his tune. Now, all of a sudden, he took a phone call or two with Hitler and Tom Homan, the American Hitler's Goebbels. What gives? Could it be that Walz understands that this is a battle he simply can't win? Is it, though, a little bit deeper than that? It is my very strong contention that the revelation that this was, in fact, a very highly coordinated effort, a conspiracy to impede or injure federal officers in direct violation of 18 U.S. Code Section 372, that included not only hundreds of Minneapolis radicals, like apparently Alex Pretti and very possibly Renee Good, but also top-level officials in the Walz administration, including potentially his own Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, who at the very outset of ICE's announcement that it was going into Minneapolis to combat the billions and billions and billions of dollars of Somali fraud, told those crazies to, quote, put their bodies on the line in order to stop ICE. Speaking of that fraud, a Dan O'Donnell Show exclusive coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. An education group is actually organizing assistance and aid for the fraudulent Somali daycares. I couldn't believe the email when I read it, and we will share it coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Coming up next, a state representative / gubernatorial candidate / crazy person wants to shut down Wisconsin's economy in the name of helping illegal alien murderers and child rapists. It will not surprise you at all to learn who it is. That story coming up next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Bob from Redefine Realty with a riddle for you. Guess correctly before I give the answer, and you are a winner. Only agents from one real estate company already know the answer. Ready? Pay attention. Here goes. I'm a contest between 4 or 5, even 10 people that only ends when one absolute winner is declared, yet I have 2 winners. What am I? You got it? Are you a winner? Need more time? No, it's not the record at auction sale price of $2 million for a Wu-Tang Clan vinyl record. That's an impressive guess, though. Selling a home? Only Redefined Realty's proprietary method guarantees buyers get every opportunity to pay you maximum dollar and that you will leave closing with maximum profit. One more time. I'm a contest between 4 or 5, even 10 people that only ends when one absolute winner is declared, yet I have 2 winners. What am I? The answer is a Redefined Realty MLS home sale boosted by Easy Home Bidder Auction. Buyers win, sellers win. Let yourself win. Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
That sharp pain in your back, the stiffness in your neck, you don't have to live with it. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin is one of the most trusted names for back and spinal care in the region, right here in our community. Relief starts at orthowisconsin.com. There is a difference.
Progressive Commercial knows truckers can expect the unexpected when driving, but a little heads up like this would still be nice.
Hey there, good buddy. This is the pothole you're about to hit and blow a tire on. Afterwards, you'll say, boy, that came out of nowhere, which is funny considering I've been here the whole time. Because I'm a pothole. Over.
Be ready for the unexpected with heavy truck roadside assistance available 24/7 year-round. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to terms and limits. Not available in all states.
Following the attacks on 9/11/01, FDNY firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. Daniel spent months and months searching for victims. Now, Daniel's death was the direct result of 9/11 related cancer. He leaves behind his wife, Carrie, and their children. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. Join us. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number 1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Business owners, want to sell your business? At Lake Country Advisors, our team will meet with you face-to-face and will answer all your questions confidentially. Visit LakeCountryAdvisors.com and schedule a free consultation. Local, experienced, and trusted. We are Lake Country Advisors.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Our favorite 4-letter word. Free. Free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
If I told you that one of the candidates for governor on the Democrat side was trying to organize a boycott to hurt Wisconsin's businesses in the name of protecting illegal alien murderers and child rapists, which one would you think it is? But yes, there are 9 of them, and all 9 are perhaps equally likely. We'll tell you in just a second, just so we're clear about the type of people who are out there protesting. And I use that term very, very loosely. The people who are out there openly opposing and getting in the faces of ICE agents are some of the worst people that you could imagine. Don't believe me? Listen to this voicemail left for an ICE agent and picked up by Fox News.
You're a fucking fascist pig. You should
fucking kill yourself. I hope your wife dies. I hope your mom and dad die. I hope everything wrong that could go in your life happens. You should kill yourself. You're fucking disgusting. I hate you. Everyone hates you. You're a fucking murderer, and all of your friends are fucking murderers.
Yeah. Charming fellow, that voicemail guy. The candidate for governor who is, quote, standing with Minnesota in an ice out justice for Alex Pretti, justice for Renee Good nationwide shutdown on Thursday, January 30th, or excuse me, on Friday, January 30th, is in fact Francesca Hong. She tweeted out a few hours ago, last Friday, Minnesota launched a general strike that shut down Minneapolis. On January 30th, the movement goes nationwide. No work, no school, no shopping. When we withhold our labor, divest our dollars, and stand together in solidarity, the people have real power. She then posts the poster for this ice out, no work, no school, no shopping nationwide shutdown. Following that up with a tweet, we demand justice for Renee Good, Alex Pretti, and all victims of ICE terror. We reject the presence of ICE and Border Patrol in our communities. We condemn the violence, racism, and cruelty this administration has normalized. Enough is enough. Shut it down. Hashtag ICE out. Hashtag strike. So in order to protest a federal action, which she believes to be evil and awful, she wants to hurt mom and pop businesses. Last night, I went to a phenomenal new Korean barbecue place in the community near where I live. I happened to be there picking up a prescription after the show, and I thought, you know what? The kids have all eaten. They had final exams, at least the older ones did today for high school. And I thought, I'll stop in. So on Friday, the day when that business, and it was me and another woman in it. Now, granted, it's a Monday night. It's frigid cold out. But this little business definitely needs our support. Needed my support. It needed my $19 for the Korean beef barbecue or whatever it was that I got. Delicious, by the way. If you reach out to me, I'll tell you what it is. I don't like telling people where I live or what places that I frequent because, ladies and gentlemen, I have gotten a few voicemails like that one that was left for the ICE agents. So what Francesca Hong is saying to this immigrant couple, I was actually talking to them for a little bit. They've been in this country for some time. They were obviously, it's a husband and a wife. They were born in South Korea. They came here legally to make a better life for themselves, join up with family who is already here. They open a little Korean barbecue place. What Francesca Hong is saying is we should hurt that couple, their lifelong dream, their business, in order to support her pet cause. And her pet cause, by the way, is not arresting dangerous rapists and murderers. This is why, since I have struck out on the cowardly pudgeball Congressman Mark Pocan, getting him on this program to debate me on immigration enforcement, I am hereby challenging Francesca Hong, state representative in Madison, one of my broadcast markets. She can reach more voters for her gubernatorial run and more voters in her state legislative district just by one appearance on my show than she ever could with any other appearance anywhere. I will have her on for as long as she wants. We can do a full hour if she would like, and we are going to debate. We can even do it on the day of this nationwide shutdown. We are going to debate federal law, the supremacy clause, the concept of federalism, her support for left-wing terrorism, and anything else related to border and immigration enforcement. I'm about the easiest person in the world to get a hold of. I look forward to hearing from Representative Hong and or her representatives. Not to be outdone, former Lieutenant Governor Mandela, affectionately known here as Man Deadbeat Barnes because of his steadfast refusal to pay property taxes or speeding tickets, posted a statement the day of Alex Pretti's killing. It's about as unhinged as you would think. It cannot be lost on us that an American citizen and ICU nurse, Alex Pretti, lost his life this morning. Here I should interject. It is very likely that Pretti, in fact, quit his job several weeks ago in order to protest and to impede ICE full time. What ICE is doing, Barnes continues, is not law enforcement, and it makes all of us less safe. Americans voted for lower prices and criminals off our streets, not whatever the hell this is. Agents operating in masks, killing people with no accountability is pure lawlessness. They need to be unmasked and investigated. Democratic and Republican governors alike should come together to stand with Governor Walz and against this violence being inflicted in all of our states. This is wrong, and we need to use every bit of leverage we have in this moment to stop it from continuing. He signs it, rather bizarrely, Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. Now, as anybody who knows anything about Wisconsin politics knows, Mandela Barnes has not been Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin since early January of 2023. It is now late January of 2025. Why is he still referring to himself as Lieutenant Governor? Well, rather obviously because unemployed guy Mandela Barnes sounds a lot less impressive at the bottom of a press release. I am also hereby challenging Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. I wonder how Sarah Rodriguez feels about Mandela, because she is also running for governor, and she thought she had the absolute best, most heartfelt response. She said, by virtue of having an Hispanic last name, I am a target of ICE. She actually said that. She is about as white as it gets. She is as white as low-fat mayonnaise. That is how white she is. She said during a Democratic candidate forum last week, I am a target of ICE. ICE could be kicking down my door any minute now. She is also refusing to answer any questions about her husband, who she keeps saying is a naturalized citizen from Mexico. I have no doubt that is true, but if it is, why would she be worried about ICE kicking down her door? Why would she be saying, I am a potential target of ICE? Baltazar Rodriguez, her husband, is a naturalized citizen, right? Right? One would think she'd have no problem answering this. But since she has, at this point, refrained from saying anything totally nuts, she put out a completely unhinged anti-ICE proposal that was immediately slapped down by even her own governor, Tony Evers, who said, yeah, well, that's probably not doable because of, federalism and everything. I am hereby challenging former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes to also subject his views and subject these statements to even the slightest bit of scrutiny. Obviously, he's never going to get that in the sycophantic Wisconsin news and political press. You are not going to get Scott Bauer over at the Associated Press actually citing federal law, actually quoting the Constitution, and actually dismantling every single thing these idiots say. Now, of course, I'm just, as they constantly like to remind me, just a talk show host, which means it should be easy work. Francesca Hong has about the biggest mouth in this state. She should have no trouble coming on my show in a debate style format. She gets 2 minutes. I get 2 minutes. She gets 2 minutes. I get 2 minutes. I will afford the exact same thing to Mandela Barnes. Again, I am very easy to get a hold of. I await their response to my challenge. And, oh, by the way, coming up next, I've got a surprising somebody who agrees with me on immigration policy, somebody who Hong and Barnes might admire. We'll get to that next.
Winter in Wisconsin can be mighty frigid, but we have something that can warm anyone's cockles. Play the nationwide Cold Hard Cash Contest 9 times each weekday on Newstalk 1130 WISN. Listen for a keyword, then enter it at newstalk1130.com. If your entry is selected, you win $1,000.
The Cold Hard Cash Contest is presented by Ward Kitchen and Bath in Saukville. They'll help you get rid of that ugly Whirlpool tub, turning your places into amazing spaces. WardKitchenandBath.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, where I've been taking my vehicles for years. People always ask me, Dan, are they really that good? And I always say, they're better. The workmanship is outstanding, and it's backed by a lifetime warranty. But what really sets Mander apart is the customer service they provide and their attention to detail. Just listen to this 5-star review from Greg. Brian and the crew took excellent care of my car. Professional, friendly, and kept in good contact throughout the entire process. Could not recommend a better place. Thanks for the great service and experience. The work they did was awesome, and my car looks amazing. Mine always have 2, Greg. That's why I've referred at least a dozen friends and family members to Mander over the years, and all of them had the exact same experience that Greg did. You will too. All you need to do is to start your repair today by heading to mandercollision.com.
What's wrong?
I have the flu. Or are you pretending to be sick so you can lie around on the SB 9000 sofa?
One of Penny Mustard's most comfortable sofas.
Please let me suffer in peace. Come on, fess up. Fine, I'm not sick. I just wanted to spend the afternoon on the SB 9000.
You had me going.
Really?
In fact, oh no, I think I'm coming down with something too.
The SB 9000 sofa, starting at $33.93 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
We're the Libby family.
At Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
For over 41 years, we've helped Wisconsin folks create beautiful, affordable, and durable bathrooms.
You'll get our expert guidance and long-lasting quality products.
And nobody beats our prices.
I did it myself at Do-It-Yourself.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell, for my friends at Current Electric, they'd like to thank Southeast Wisconsin for making them the #1 choice in same-day electrical services. Do you know the reason so many people choose Current Electric? It's trust. And it's that simple. People trust the Current Electric electricians that come into their homes and perform same-day electrical service and repairs and have for over 40 years. Give the superheroes from Current Electric a chance to earn your trust. You won't be sorry. Go to callcurrent.com.
David Brownsdorf here, disclosing Flawless Flooring's secret weapon to businesses other than flooring company owners.
Whoa, sounds scary.
Scary good. Our iNet website, SEO, and radio marketing completely transformed Flawless with incredible results, delivering opportunity, spurring business growth.
Thought you were going to say, after months of alchemy, you've created a carpet stink and stain removal magic elixir.
That would be a carpet knife and dumpster.
Flawless Flooring added carpeting to both showrooms, becoming a true one-stop flooring shop since coming to iNet.
And we have the best flooring website in Wisconsin.
Likely the best anywhere. More important, how are sales?
Since partnering with iNet, sales doubled. iNet's laser-focused SEO drives insane traffic to our site and customers to the showrooms. Hiring iNet is casting a net, catching all the right customers.
Clever, Dave. Sensory Underload. Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
Not as clever as your creative genius branding and radio ad writing. iNet-web.com. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
iNet will improve your business's economy.
Hey, Dan here. Now's the time to complete the painting project you've been putting off. CertaPro Painters provides a free estimate quickly and at the right price. You never have to wonder about what's next. CertaPro Painters gives reliable updates and communication, and each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. So schedule your free estimate online right now at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com.
Lifting your kids, typing your next big idea, squeezing in around a golf. You use your shoulders, elbows, wrists, and hands to do it all. But when pain slows you down, the specialists at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin are here to help. Hey, it's Drew Olson from the Drew and KB Show. If you've reached your limit, if you're tired of the pain, if you want to change, your first call should be to the team at OAW to see what in the world is going on. It'll be the best decision you've ever made. Their fellowship-trained upper extremity surgeons treat shoulder, elbow, wrist, and hand issues with compassionate care, advanced techniques, and a focus on lasting recovery. Whether you're an athlete, a worker, or just want to enjoy a day without pain, start with the team that puts patients first. Their expert upper extremity surgeons offer personalized treatment plans to restore your strength and movement. All the information that you need to book your appointment can be found at orthowisconsin.com. That's orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference.
Before it was vintage, it was a revolution. This smells like the 90s. A decade that tore up the rulebook and defined a new world of alternative. Nirvana, Alanis, Pearl Jam, Weezer, no doubt more. With commercial free weekends. Your favorite era? Just a tap away. Open the free iHeartRadio app and listen now.
Injured? Call Gruber Law. One call, that's all.
Shoots, he scored! Zach LaRue, guess who? The Milwaukee Admirals play their final home game in the month of January on Tuesday the 27th when they host Rockford at Panther Arena. Sonny scored! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7.
Milwaukee Admirals hockey on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Rumors are swirling of a potential ICE operation launching in Wisconsin. Dr. Kristen Lyerly, an alleged talk show host and liberal hack activist who got absolutely shellacked in her run for Congress in the Green Bay area last year, posted that the completely false story that ICE had booked 100 rooms at the downtown Hilton in Milwaukee. ICE has learned the hard way in Minneapolis. They almost cannot book hotels. They have to stay at nearby military bases or other federal installations because as soon as it's learned that they are at a hotel, left-wing activists are out there blowing their stupid rape whistles and trying to keep them up or doing all manner of things to interfere with them. I got this text from a law enforcement source today. Amid all of these rumors, my buddy is calling hotels all over the Madison area to get the state/government rate for one night. He's headed there for a grand jury on a child predator. They all hang up on him when he asks for the government rate. I will admit I was laughing, but that is terrible. It certainly is. I actually tried this at two different hotels that I am not going to name because I'm not looking to bust anybody, but I said, hey, I'm looking for the law enforcement rate for a hotel stay. And I called a couple of hotels today, and both said they could not give me that separate rate. There was a third I called that actually hung up on me. Now, I don't know, since, look, folks, I'm not going to people that go, what's the hotel, Dan? What's the hotel? Well, I don't feel comfortable giving that out because it's sort of entrapment. Like, I'm not actually a law enforcement agent. I was just sort of trying to test this theory. Is this actually happening? Sure enough, it is. Now, the special government rate is usually a lot lower, and it usually involves multiple rooms. Like, for instance, if there is some sort of large law enforcement deployment or something like that. And these are businesses, as my law enforcement source pointed out in a subsequent text to me, that look, these are businesses that they have to make a living. So he understands, but it does just sort of speak to the animus that ICE agents face on a daily basis. Back in 2010, Then President Barack Obama said something rather remarkable. To this day, I'm still not sure if he actually meant it or if his views have evolved over time as the left has gotten far more insane on the issue of immigration. But Obama actually dismissed the idea that is now mainstream in left-wing circles that we should not have borders, we should not have any sort of border enforcement, and that we should not have deportations at all. He dismisses every single point that mainstream Democrats are all making here in 2026.
There are those in the immigrants' rights community who have argued passionately that we should simply provide those who are illegally with legal status, or at least ignore the laws on the books and put an end to deportation until we have better laws. And often this argument is framed in moral terms. Why should we punish people who are just trying to earn a living? I recognize the sense of compassion that drives this argument. But I believe such an indiscriminate approach would be both unwise and unfair. It would suggest to those thinking about coming here illegally that there will be no repercussions for such a decision. And this could lead to a surge in more illegal immigration. And it would also ignore the millions of people around the world who are waiting in line to come here legally. Ultimately, our nation, like all nations, has the right and obligation to control its borders and set laws for residency and citizenship. And no matter how decent they are, no matter their reasons, the 11 million who broke these laws should be held accountable.
Man, I never knew Barack Obama was such a Nazi. I never would have guessed. Never would have guessed. What was it? That famous, the black face of white supremacy. Isn't that what they called Clarence Thomas at one point? Yeah, how hateful. How awful is Barack Obama? Coming up throughout the show on today's edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. You think that's something? I have got half a dozen more Democrats sounding even more right-wing than Donald Trump on the issue of illegal immigration. My, oh my, do they sound different today. Coming up next, though, a truly chilling, unhinged liberal of the day who is plotting to do, frankly, incredibly evil things to ICE agents. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. It's coming up in just a couple of minutes here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Waukesha County crashes eastbound Silver Spring before Pilgrim and Sunset Drive east of 83. Eastbound on 94 jammed from 76 to Hawley and westbound between 25th and Hawley. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Get an extra $600 back on LG exclusively at Grand Appliance. Visit grandappliance.com or your local Grand showroom to experience the grand difference, including expert advice, fast delivery, and professional installation. That's Grand Appliance, appliance experts since 1930.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell, and the new year is kicking off with a bang at the Lynch family of dealerships. If you've been waiting for the perfect time to upgrade your ride, this is it. Your New Year's resolution should be a new car or truck right now. During the New Year's sales event, you can lease the brand new Chevy Equinox for just $249 a month plus tax. That's right, $249. Need something tougher? How about 20% off GMC Sierras? Yes, 20% off. And if you've had your eye on a Ram pickup, we've got 0% financing available. But hurry, these deals will not last long. Start the new year in style and savings at Lynch. Find them in McWanago, Burlington, West Bend, or Kenosha. They've got Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and a huge selection of Lynch-certified pre-owned vehicles. Find them 24 hours a day at shoplynch.com. The Lynch family of dealerships wishes you a prosperous 2026.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert with my son David, president of Accunet. David, we're pre-approving a lot of home shoppers this time of year. Why should someone choose Accunet for their pre-approval?
Dad, getting pre-approved with just any lender is like showing up to a first date in sweatpants. Sure, you're there, but are you really ready to impress? Our rock-solid pre-approval is like showing up in your best outfit with reservations already made. We also have an excellent reputation among real estate agents, so having Accunet's name on your pre-approval can make the difference.
What else?
In addition to clearly stating we verified your credit, income, and down payment, we'll also run the specific home you're looking to buy through our underwriting software to see if we can approve your loan without an appraisal, which sellers and their agents absolutely love. Bottom line, we do everything possible to help you win.
Thanks, David. Don't settle for anything less. Get started with your rock-solid pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, Dan here for CertaPro Painters. You love your home, right? And you want to protect it inside and out with quality paint in a worry-free process. And CertaPro Painters' free estimates are detailed, they're easy to understand, and you get a quote right away. That's why they're dedicated to bringing fresh color to your home with quality craftsmanship, and each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com.
Here's why. I'm attorney Werner Adam Rice of Warshevsky Law and licensed medical doctor Werner Adam Rice of Warshevsky Law. Being an MD and an attorney has allowed me to contribute powerful preparation for trial from day one in countless cases. I review medical evidence as it is discovered in the cases Warshevsky represents. Knowing the law and medicine allows me to see things an attorney might miss or that a doctor doesn't realize matter. For Warshevsky and our clients, my expertise has allowed us to see and prosecute forged and altered documents by doctors. I prepare medical expert witnesses in a way few attorneys can, and I'm a scientist. In one case, I proved negligence working with a medical examiner, creating an anatomic clay model of a deceased client. I've contributed to the Warshevsky firm winning many multi-million-dollar lawsuits, including the largest settlement ever awarded in Milwaukee County. Injured? It is about the money. Warshevsky.com, 414-276-4970.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson, the Falls and New Berlin. Seed oils, the number one source of calories in American diets, developed as engine fuel and industrial lubricants, only ended up in the food supply for profit. Seed oils cause arthritis, heart disease, metabolic syndrome, stroke, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and chronic illness. Medical doctors prescribe dozens of pharmaceuticals for life to treat symptoms of those diseases. Why don't they tell you to stop consuming poison? I'll tell you why. You sick is profitable. At Total Health, we teach eliminating seed oils from your diet improves true health and how you feel. Total Health finds the root cause of your fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, sleeplessness, then works with you, the whole you, eliminating symptoms and the chronic disease causing those symptoms. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution is true. Total Health's holistic practitioners utilize proven science to help you feel and truly be the most helpful and well you. TotalHealthInc.com. That's TotalHealthInc.com.
Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-iHeart.
President Trump was just on the Will Cain show at a restaurant in Iowa. The president making the media rounds today. He was on the Sid Rosenberg radio show on WABC, WOR, one of the big talk stations in New York this morning. The president is going to be giving a big economic policy speech. It's also going to be part of the administration's attempts to get people the truth about just how well the economy has turned around. And a big reason for that is actually immigration enforcement. We will get into that coming up, hopefully, in the 4 o'clock hour. We may need to push it to the 5 o'clock hour because we are going to try to dip into President Trump's speech. We're not going to carry the entire thing. We do have a responsibility to our advertisers to play the commercials, and I'm fairly certain I would be tarred and feathered by management the second second I got off the air if I didn't play the latest iNet spots. But what if, how about this? When President Trump takes a breath, okay, hear me out. President Trump, and when there's an applause line, the crowd is applauding. I just randomly go, inet-web.com. And then it'll be like we're actually playing the commercials. What do you think? Time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Now, most of the time when we do the unhinged liberal of the day, it's someone who's just like comically stupid or saying something that is just so over the top we can have some laughs about it. This one is not one of those. Her name is Melinda. She is a nurse at Virginia Commonwealth University Hospital. And, well, she is talking about doing some real dark stuff to ICE agents. First of all, she's calling on her fellow nurses to inject them with a chemical that will temporarily paralyze them.
I thought of something good. I think it's something weird spot. Sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes with needles on the end. Have them full of saline or succinylcholine, whatever. That will probably be a deterrent.
Yeah, succinylcholine or whatever she called it. That is something that temporarily paralyzes someone. What's serious bodily assault? She doesn't stop there. Same video she posted to TikTok. She also suggested putting poison ivy in water bottles and spraying it in the faces of officers.
Okay, for today's resistance tip, I vote. Anybody got any poison ivy, poison oak in their yard? Get some of that up with gloves, obviously. Get it in some water, like a gallon of water. Get the poison ivy oak water, and I'm going to put it into a water gun. Aim for faces, hands.
Yeah. As if that wasn't bad enough, she also suggested to the lib women of the Virginia Commonwealth area to go on Tinder, get matched with ICE agents, and then put X-Lax in their food.
All right, the single ladies where these ICE guys are going have a chance to do something, not without risk, but could help the cause for sure. Get on Tinder, get on Hinge, find these guys. They're around. If they're an ICE agent, bring some X-Lax and put it in their drinks. Get them sick. Nobody's gonna die. Just enough to incapacitate them, get them off the street for the next day.
So she wants to poison ICE agent. Now, there is good news. There is good news. Anybody taking her advice to try to get on Tinder, any liberal resistance women who are trying to, poison ICE agents on dates are far too ugly to ever get matched up with any ICE agents, or they're actually men pretending to be women. But I'm telling you, folks, this is evil. What that sort of thing is evil. The fact that this woman sat there and thought of things and then broadcast it using her actual name without a care in the world to who saw, because she thinks it's justified that you can poison an ICE agent with a chemical that will temporarily paralyze them. And yes, it has been repeatedly found that if you spike someone's food with X-Lax or something that you think is just going to give them intestinal distress, it can actually seriously hurt them. That can end up being serious criminal charges. This is what we're dealing with, folks. These are truly wicked people. Melinda, rather obviously, your unhinged liberal of the day.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. A hotel in Oconomowoc was damaged after a fire earlier this morning. It happened at the Town Place Suites. The fire's cause was due to an extension cord powering a heating unit near sprinkler pipes. Nobody was hurt. Both state and county health officials have confirmed the first case of measles in Waukesha County this year.
A Waukesha County case marks the first confirmed case of measles in Wisconsin this year. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services says the case is related to international travel and is working to identify and notify people who may have been exposed. DHS encourages you to check your vaccination status to make sure you're protected from the virus. Symptoms include runny nose, high fever, and a red rash with raised bumps that starts at the hairline and moves to the arms and legs. More info can be found on the DHS website. Sean Maloney, Wisconsin Radio Network.
And NTSB investigators say systematic flaws within air traffic control training may have contributed to last year's collision between an Army helicopter and a passenger jet, killing 67 people in Washington, D.C. Checking the holiday automotive, a Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. Admirals on the home ice tonight to take on Rockford. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Becoming partly sunny today, plus windy and cold with temperatures in the teens and wind chills below zero. Temperatures tonight fall just above and below zero. Then we're back to teens on Wednesday. Quiet and cold the rest of the week, but there is a chance for lake effect snow on Friday. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement. Batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Jay here again for my friends at Semperfi Roofing. The Wisconsin winter's especially hard on the roof of your home. The folks at Semperfi want you to keep an eye out for signs of winter roofing problems. Icicles hanging from your gutters, uneven snowmelt on your roof, or water stains on your ceiling. If you see any of these, don't wait. Call the roofing experts at Semperfi. See, unlike a lot of roofers in the area, Semperfi doesn't shut down during the winter. They know your roof problems can't wait until spring. In fact, they can be at your home within 24 hours and do a free 21-point inspection, diagnose the issue, and recommend a solution. And if it's time for a new roof, their highly trained installation teams will install it perfectly the first time, clean up after themselves, and leave your home and yard nicer than they found it. So if you see signs of winter roofing problems, don't wait. Set up your free no-obligation roof inspection and estimate today. 262-600-2910, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Progressive Commercial knows truckers can expect the unexpected when driving, but a little heads up like this would still be nice.
Hey there, good buddy. This is the pothole you're about to hit and blow a tire on. Afterwards, you'll say, boy, that came out of nowhere, which is funny considering I've been here the whole time. Because I'm a pothole. Over.
Be ready for the unexpected with heavy truck roadside assistance available 24/7 year-round. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to terms and limits. Not available in all states.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes and their families, heroes like Scott Abrams. Now, for more than 3 decades, Scott served his community and country while he was on his NYPD motorcycle escorting a funeral procession. Scott was hit by a bus, leaving him partially paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers was able to honor Scott with a mortgage-free smart home. Please join us supporting the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. If you can donate $11 a month, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go here. Spring of 1917, just 14 years after the Wright brothers' first flight, America, determined to darken the skies over Europe with 12,000 combat aircraft, set about crafting 100 million board feet of Pacific Northwest Sitka spruce lumber.
Sonny Voss here. The rest is history. American ingenuity, determination, and might rescued humanity from tyranny. Dad harnessed American ingenuity, developing the remote control, truck-mounted the articulated grapple saw Cut and Go uses to safely dominate landscapes.
Grind and Go is committed to your property being eyesore and trip hazard free. Cut and Go will take down dead trees for you to parse into firewood or chip for you to spread, or we can take with us.
Plant and Go designs historic treescapes, delivers and plants in time for you to celebrate your freedom this year.
Happy 250th anniversary. A Tons of Trees movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
Get your rock solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Shoots, he scored! Zach LaRue, guess who?
The Milwaukee Admirals play their final home game in the month of January on Tuesday the 27th when they host Rockford at Panther Arena.
Sonny scored!
Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7.
Milwaukee Admirals hockey on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Hour starts now here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up in it, what actually is behind all of the anti-ICE craziness? Why is it that Democrats want as many illegal aliens in this country as possible, including those who have committed truly heinous crimes? Why are they fighting so hard for the worst of the worst of the worst to stay in American neighborhoods? Could it have something to do with brand new census data that was just released today? Could it have something to do with redistricting in 2031? We will investigate. Coming up later this hour, we are awaiting President Trump taking the stage any minute now. We're going to try to time that with our daily Trump date. Every day at 4 o'clock, we take a look at the day that was in Trump's Washington before the nightly news gets its hands on it and completely biases up what it was that happens, or just frankly doesn't cover all of the stuff that happens. Before we get to any of that, though, all right, what do you want? I mean, a dealer's choice here. We unveiled a new segment on Fridays. We call it Talk Radio Roulette, where I just take random calls. Here we're going to do dealer's choice. That's a casino game, right? Dealer's choice. We can either win you $1,000, or at least try to, or we can do the most intelligent response Dan has gotten all day. And it is a shut-in who wrote me, you can see it if you're watching on the Dano Cam, a handwritten loose leaf paper note about how I speak. Which one do we want? I think I just answered my own question. It is time now for the most intelligent response Dan has gotten all day. This comes to us from a man whose name is, I kid you not, and I only use his last name because it is so unique, Norman Bleed in Rockford, Illinois. He writes, again, handwritten on loose leaf paper, January 21st, 2026. Dear Mr. O'Donnell, you mother bleeper. Let me try to be more specific. I've been vaguely familiar with you, your morning show, and your style, which is to declaim rather than to just speak. I don't know what declaim means, but he goes on. Not that I favor mutterers, mumblers, and radio announcers who speak fast and or under their breath. You are articulate. I'll give you that. But you have a very off-putting... I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying here. Hey, it's tough to get through the cursive. You have a very off-putting way of speechifying, with projection enough to reach the back row without any amplification. Every single thing you say. And just so we're aware, he is not just underlining the things that he wants to amplify. He is also circling the words that he wants to emphasize. Like a stage actor, or like Lincoln giving his Gettysburg Address, but in this case, not because he was a pompous ass, but rather so he could be heard and understand by as many as possible. Yes, he wrote understand, not understood. You put extra space between your every word and every sentence just to be a dick. Sometimes, as a semi-regular listener to Vicky McKenna, I'd stick around for the hour or so till reception goes bad and try to listen to Mark Belling. What a pompous ass. Yet, yes, I've gathered, extensively successful. Go figure. He'd endlessly interrupt himself from getting to his announced topic, with digression after sillier digression. I always gave up. Now, lately, I've been giving you a try and a chance, with the best of hopes and wishes for you. But today, from 3 to 4, you plumb did me in. Talk like a normal person. Stay on topic. Avoid silliness. And stop reprising Belling's shtick. Belling shtick underscored about 15 times. Sincerely, Norman Bleed. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the most intelligent and slightly creepiest response Dan has gotten all day. Now let's try to win you $1,000. Even Norman, if I speechify too much, at least you can win $1,000. Nationwide keyword this hour, cold hard cash contest, dollar, DOLLAR, dollar. You have got until 4:55 to go to our website and enter the key. I'm sorry. He literally opens it up. Here, I'm gonna show the camera. He opens it up. Dan, dear Mr. O'Donnell, you mother bleeper. Lest you think I make these up, folks, I'm telling you. I just got that. I actually went to my physical mailbox, which I usually don't get a whole lot of physical mail. Sometimes I will get, I do get a good number of Christmas cards, and I love each and every one of them. I actually display all of the Christmas cards that I get from listeners on my desk. I do appreciate all of them. I don't get a whole lot of physical mail, but by God, I'm going to check that mailbox every day, because sometimes I get an absolute banger like Norman's. I literally went during the 4 o'clock news, opened it up and said, my goodness, I don't care what else I have to do. I am absolutely going to read that email. All right, let's get you the daily Trump date as we are preparing to hear from President Trump. My guess is that he goes on probably sometime in the next 15 minutes. But right now, let's get a preview.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Trump just keeps winning.
It is a win for the administration.
It's also a big win for the United States.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
The president today toured a machine shed, then went off to a restaurant to do the Will Cain show. He is going to make a big economic speech and sort of rally the base as he kicks off a tour designed to help boost Republican Republican fortunes ahead of the 2026 midterms. As bizarre as it may seem, as nutso as the Democrat Party and the left is acting in Minnesota, they are widely expected to win back the House, if not the United States Senate. And then, yes, it would be impeachment after impeachment after impeachment. And despite the fact that they're now all focused on Minneapolis and focused on ICE, the main message is going to be affordability. So President Trump is going to tailor his remarks to combating that coming up. And I think we're going to do it in the 5 o'clock hour, how inflation went down because of President Trump's immigration enforcement. It may seem counterintuitive, but there is ample evidence that one of the biggest reductions in net migration in American history has also coincided with prices going way down, because we are no longer paying nearly as much money at the state and local government level, especially to care for tons of people who should not be here. Now, earlier today on Fox and Friends, First Lady Melania Trump called for peace and unity in Minneapolis.
We need to unify. I'm calling for unity. I know my husband, the president, had a great call yesterday with the governor and the mayor, and they're working together to make it peaceful and without riots. I'm against the violence, so if we protest in peace. And we need to unify in these times.
Meanwhile, Borders Czar Tom Homan has been meeting all day with officials in Minneapolis, including the mayor, Jacob Fry. There is no sign that immigration enforcement is going to stop or even slow down there, but it does seem as though the president is looking to compromise, at least somewhat, with the nutsos in Minnesota if he can get access to the jails and he can get access to information that will lead to the arrests of more dangerous, violent criminals, as well as the tens of thousands of Somali fraudsters who have apparently set up shop and been defrauding the government out of billions of dollars over the past several years. Hey, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we are going to get to an exclusive story. Why is an education association here in Wisconsin pledging solidarity with fake Somali daycares? It's almost like they didn't get the memo that the daycare centers aren't real. It's hilarious and sad at the same time. Dan O'Donnell Show exclusive coming up in about an hour. This morning, President Trump signed an executive order that will partially federalize the rebuilding in Los Angeles following the devastating fires there last year. As the White House put it in a tweet today, the order will, quote, overcome California's and Los Angeles's permitting failures that have left families, businesses, and houses of worship unable to rebuild a year after the devastating wildfires in the Pacific Palisades and Eaton Canyon areas. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your daily Trump date. We will again touch on the president's speech and dip into it as soon as he begins. Now, why is it that Democrats are fighting so hard in Minneapolis and elsewhere across the country to keep as many illegal aliens here as possible, regardless of what heinous acts they may have committed? It could have something to do with this. Democrats are projected to get absolutely shellacked in redistricting following the 2030 census. According to new figures out today, the 2025 census population estimates released this morning, the American Redistricting Project, which is considered one of the nation's foremost, if not the foremost authority on projecting how each census is going to go. For those who don't quite understand, every 10 years we do a census. Yes, we want to know exactly who's in this country, how many people, and that sort of thing. But we also do so for the purposes of reapportioning congressional and state legislative seats. The United States Senate, I can't believe I need to explain this to liberals, deliberately has 2 representatives for each state. That is designed specifically so that larger states like California can't just dominate smaller states like Wyoming. California is able to dominate Wyoming in the House of Representatives, the lower body of both the Congress and state legislatures is done by apportionment. This is what's done by population. And in fact, I guess the state Senate is also done by apportionment, but you sort of get the idea. The idea here is that there is proportional representation in the lower house. After the census, there is redistricting. States can gain congressional seats and they can lose congressional seats. In addition, state legislatures can see their populations move, and districts can be eliminated, they can be moved, they can be redrawn. Not only is this a big deal for representation in the House, where there are always 435 seats, it is also a huge deal in presidential elections. Every state has representation in the Electoral College equal to its congressional representation. That means every state has 2 electoral votes for each of its senators and at least 1 electoral vote for its congressional representatives. For the longest time, California has had by far the most electoral votes and congressional representatives. It's been in the 50s. Now, however, the American Redistricting Project, taking a look at census population estimates released this morning, says California is once again, for a second straight census, going to lose seats. It's going to lose 4. So too are Illinois, Minnesota, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Wisconsin. What do each one of those states have in common? Every single one of them. That's right. They all have Democrat governors. Every single one is a traditionally Democratic state, or at least it's more blue-leaning than red. Wisconsin is about as purple a state as it gets, but for the past 8 years, we've had a Democrat governor. California is about as liberal as it comes. Illinois, New York, Oregon, Minnesota, those are about the most liberal states in the union. They are all going to lose seats. Now, Illinois, Minnesota, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Wisconsin account for 7 electoral votes. When you add that to California's, that's a big number. 11 electoral votes would all go to, and this is critical, states with Republican governors, save for one, North Carolina, that nonetheless typically does elect Republican governors. All of the states that are projected to add seats in the upcoming census are red states. Texas, according to this redistricting project, is projected to get 4 seats. So all of California's seats are going to go to Texas. 2 seats are going to go to Florida, and 1 each to Arizona, Georgia, Idaho, North Carolina, and Utah. I guess Arizona also has a Democrat governor, but is more red. It went red in 2024 than blue, and is considered to be increasingly Republican because of a whole lot of retirements, just like Florida and Texas. Florida and Texas, incidentally, are 2 of the reddest states in the country. So too is Utah. Georgia is much redder than it was in 2020, where President Trump didn't just lose, but in special elections, so too did both Republican senators. This is a massive deal. Not only will Democrats suffer a huge blow in the House of Representatives, where Republicans will be favored to win the House pretty much every election in the 2030s, it is going to be much easier for Republicans to win the presidency. In the election of 2032, the first presidential election that will be conducted after the redistricting of 2030, the Republican candidate, whether that's incumbent President J.D. Vance or whomever, the incumbent president, the Republican candidate can win the White House without needing to win Wisconsin, Michigan, or Pennsylvania. In other words, they can win the White House by winning the states, all of the states that are almost invariably going to go red, barring something just completely unexpected, plus North Carolina, which, again, will have an additional electoral vote. Georgia also will have an electoral vote in addition to the ones it already has, and Arizona. Republicans will only need to win the Sun Belt, keep Florida, and Florida has gone from the ultimate swing state to being about as red gets. Texas and all of the states that are pretty much locks for Republicans, that's it. The map will get much, much harder for Democrats to win the presidency. Now, why exactly is that such a big deal? We will dive into that and hear from President Trump, who is starting his speech in Iowa. We will get to him as soon as this commercial break is over. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
Southbound 4145, slow Silver Spring to Burleigh 43, southbound from North Ave to the Marquette. Got a crash on Blue Mound east of Moreland Road. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Tap In Golf in Waukesha and Sussex.
Looking for the ultimate sports bar experience? Tap In Golf Bar in Waukesha and Sussex has you covered. Catch every game, play golf on cutting-edge simulators, or simply relax with a drink. For more, go to tapingolfbar.com.
Annex Wealth Management's education continues in 2026 to help you stay informed. Join Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano and Chief Economic Strategist Dr. Brian Jacobson as they review key data points Thursday, January 21st at the Pfister.
2026 is shaping up to be a year like no other. The question is, how will it affect your financial plan? We're looking forward to seeing you navigating the markets 2026 and beyond. That's January 21st at the Pfister with Annex Wealth Management.
Dan here for my friends at CertaPro Painters. You can trust them to get the job done right because they take pride in what they do. The process is worry-free, starting with a free estimate. You get reliable communication and professional painting all at the right price. And each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. So schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
40 years ago, being informed was about reading the newspaper and watching the nightly news. Now, with information coming at you at the speed of light, being truly informed is a complex proposition, a more comprehensive process. At WISN, our show hosts frame stories, issues, and topics with both facts and unique analysis. And that leaves you with a richer understanding of the world around you. It's the perfect blend of information and insight. Stay informed all day, every day on WISN. We report, you decide. Factual, fair, and balanced coverage. Your exclusive home of Fox News Radio. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. President Trump now speaking in Iowa. Let's go to the president live right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
And I think it was in the history. A mass invasion of our border and our country was being laughed at all over the world. We were being laughed at. We were a joke. We're not a joke anymore. We're not a joke. We're not being laughed at anymore. But today, just after 1 year of President Trump, our economy is booming, incomes are rising, investment is soaring, inflation has been defeated, our border is closed, totally closed. And America is respected all over the world like they've never been respected. 1 year, I thought it would take us 2 years. I guess I'm following in the great path of John Deere. We got the chairman of John Deere here, chairman and CEO. That's pretty good. I even signed a John Deere hat for him. He said, I'm going to put this in the museum. I said, that's good. No, it's a great company. And you just said you're opening up 2 massive plants because of tariffs. You're opening up one in North Carolina, one someplace else. And you're expanding all over the place. You're doing a great job. I bought a lot of John Deere stuff. It's a great company. It's an honor to have you. Thank you very much. This has been the most dramatic 1-year turnaround of any country in history in terms of the speed. I really thought it would take us 2 or 3 years to do what we're doing. You know, we're the number 1 country anywhere in history, in the world, anywhere in history for investment coming into the country. And it's amazing. And it's because of tariffs. And it's also because of the fact that we had such a tremendous November 5th. That November 5th brought spirit back to our country, came back. You know, one thing I think which is so important is, if you remember, a year and a half ago, we couldn't get people to enlist in the military, any of them, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, any of them, the Coast Guard, Space Force. I love Space Force, right? We couldn't get them, and even police departments, they couldn't get anybody with a uniform that represented the country. You couldn't get them. And today, we have the single greatest recruitment numbers in the history of our military. The police forces are loaded. Law enforcement is loaded up. And everybody wants to be a policeman, a fireman. They want to be in the military, any branch. I mean, we literally, they couldn't get them a year and a half ago. Nobody wanted to be in the military. Now everybody wants to be in the military. It's an amazing thing that's happened, an amazing turnaround. And all because we have a president who does something very simple, puts America first, right? Right? Thank you. So under my leadership, economic growth is exploding to numbers unheard of. They've never had them before in recent times, and we're just getting started. You know, the great, big, beautiful bill, which is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. Do we have any seniors in here? Do we have any seniors in here? One of the fake news said he did that because he doesn't want to pay tax on his Social Security. Don't you believe? That's what I never thought of. These are sick people. But despite the fact that we've just really started, it's just kicking in because we inherited such a horrible situation with all of the high prices and the inflation and everything else. And by the way, the open borders, we had millions and everything you see today wouldn't happen. They opened the borders, but we had a 5.4%. And since the election, the stock market is at 52 all-time highs, adding $9 trillion in value to your savings, retirement accounts, and 401ks. So 401k people, I mean, of which you got a lot of people. Does anybody have a 401k in the audience? A lot of people. So you're setting records, right? The highest it's ever been. They say this, you know, the good stock market, they say, well, this stock market, you know, they just try so hard. This stock market doesn't affect the middle class. I say it does. What about a 401k? What about all the other things? What about the fact that they're making more salary than they've ever made? But the stock market's the highest. How is John Deere stock doing, Greg? All-time high? It's all-time. Everyone, I don't have to even ask the question. I mean, I made a lot of people rich. Me, I just keep working. I made a lot of people rich. I made a lot of people rich that I don't even like. I got a lot of people that I don't like at all, and I've doubled their net worth. But after 4 years in which Biden got less than $1 trillion in new investment, think of it. He took in substantially less in 4 years than $1 trillion. We secured commitments for a record-breaking plus $18 trillion. So in 1 year, we did over $18 trillion, and he did less than $1 trillion. Just over 1 year ago, under Sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left lunatics, We were a dead country. We were a dead country. I tell you, 1 year ago, a little more than 1 year ago, we were a dead country. The king of Saudi Arabia told me that. You've heard me say it. He said it better than anybody else. He said, I can't believe it. A few months ago, he said, a year ago, you were a dead country. Now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Like he said, I can't believe it. And today I'm pleased to announce one more historic investment. The great American company that we just talked about is doing so much. I have to give it really. I buy so much equipment from so many of the people in the. We have a lot of very successful companies in here, but I know it's a very special deal because John Deere is doing $70 million in factory in North Carolina. It's brand new, the best in the world, and I think it's going to pay off very, very big. And if it doesn't, I have nothing to do with it. But if it does, I'm going to take full credit. But what it is an excavator factory, as I understand it, and it's going to be the only excavator factory. In other words, excavators. We all know I love those excavators. Believe it or not, I know a lot about them. We don't make them here. This is going to be the only excavator entirely made in the United States of America. So that's good. That's good. I love it. I love it. It's great. And they'll all come. I hate to tell you, but they're all going to be coming too. You're going to have some competition, but you'll be ahead of them. If congressional Democrats had their way this year, would right now be facing the largest tax hike. So they wanted to give you, this is what I was running against, the largest tax hike in the history of our country. I wanted to give you the largest tax cut in the history of our country. And if they won, this country would be cratering right now. It would be cratering. So I've cut a record number of job-killing regulations. The reason our job numbers are so good, and remember this, I've cut hundreds of thousands of federal jobs. Now, if I didn't do that, our numbers would be even more through the roof. Or I could get them. You know what they do? In order to have decent numbers, they hire 1 million people. You hire 1 million people, all of a sudden you're down to 3.5%. We don't do that. We get rid of that job where you have 10 jobs for you have 10 people for every job. And they are all now, and they hated me. They hated me. Now they love me. You know why? They all got jobs in the private sector making twice as much money as they made from the federal government, sometimes much more than that. So a year ago, they hated me, and now they love me. But
I'm still not sure about that. That is President Trump talking in Iowa. He's sort of reciting some of the greatest hits here. And, folks, we do – looks like did Fox just lose the feed?
Kamala.
All right, the Fox has the feedback. I'll tell you what, this is a good place for us to break, folks. Folks, unfortunately, we do still have to play the commercials. Don't worry. We'll get back to it. Also, why is it that Democrats are so concerned about this census, so much so that they imported nearly 10 million new people into this country to try to combat its effects? We'll get to that and more when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns in just a second.
The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington Total Traffic Center.
Couple Waukesha County crashes, one on Pewaukee Road north of 94, another on Blue Mound east of Moreland. 94 westbound solid with roadwork 16th to Hawley and eastbound between 84th and Hawley. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Audible. It's time to take care of you. Who better to help you than the top voices in well-being on Audible? Kickstart your well-being journey with your first audiobook free when you sign up for a 30-day trial at audible.com/wellbeing.
There's a brand new station in Milwaukee. B93.3 has moved and is now B97.3. Reset your presets to include the feel-good favorites on B97.3. Set B97.3 as a preset in your car and on our free iHeartRadio app.
Bob here from Industry Revolutionizing Redefined Realty. There's no way an antique Milwaukee Badger ale beer bottle would have sold for $21,000 without auction. Only Redefined Realty combines MLS with auction. MLS gets your home found, and just like that beer bottle, auction compels buyers to compete in a bidding war. Buyers see the actual high bid, then outbid each other over and over and over. Redefined Realty's home sellers love standing on the sideline, watching returns on investment increasing. It's cool and fun. Selling your home with total price transparency guarantees you leave closing a winner with the maximum profit possible. Redefined Realty allows buyers to compete with or without an agent. Redefine's winning real estate combo, MLS plus auction, is the only marketing strategy that allows buyers and sellers to both win. Just like the buyers of your home, you're going to love meeting a winner at closing. Visit redefinerealty.com for a free comparable market analysis today and let yourself win. Buyers win, sellers win, let yourself win. Real estate for winners, redefinerealty.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Hey, Dan here for CertaPro Painters. You love your home, right? And you want to protect it inside and out with quality paint in a worry-free process. And CertaPro Painters' free estimates are detailed, they're easy to understand, and you get a quote right away. That's why they're dedicated to bringing fresh color to your home with quality craftsmanship, and each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com.
Here's a public service message for those looking to install replacement windows. Be wary of buy one, get one free deals, and be wary of free installation. Those deals can cost you a lot more than you think. A few weeks back, I was shown a quote for the very same product that we offered. It was for $12,000. Ours was for $4,000. Same exact product, same brand. Yeah, they were going to get 2 years no interest financing, but boy, were they about to get hammered on the price. And with that much of a price difference, maybe you won't need the financing. One of the reasons we've thrived over the past 70 years is because we offer no gimmick service with upfront lowest possible pricing. We value your business and we want you coming back. Whether it be for replacement parts you just won't find anywhere else, expert advice that comes with those 70 years of experience, or great service. This is David Wilhelm. For replacement windows, there is a clear choice for more.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Store, Street and Door.
Find us at 51st and Lisbon.
David Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring, recommending iNet for web development and SEO.
That's all?
And graphic design, photography, and video.
That's more like it, Dave. Flawless installed luxury vinyl at 3 properties I own, including iNet. The 8 separate projects were easy, turned out beautiful, exceptional value, and are extremely durable.
But wait, there's more. iNet's creative genius branding and radio gives Flawless a unique identity, making us stand out. Hiring iNet is casting a net that pulls in customers your business wants and needs.
Clever, Dave. You just might have a future in radio ad writing.
My future is secure in flooring, partially because we cast our iNet 5 years ago.
Having Flawless replace pet stain and stink-saturated carpet is a smell and sight upgrade, making every day more beautiful and less gross. Flawless Flooring, LLC.com.
Having iNet replace underperforming web, radio, any marketing enhances business opportunity for profitable growth. iNet-web.com. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
And the winner of the iHeart Podcast Award is...
You can decide who takes home the 2026 iHeart Podcast Awards Podcast of the Year by voting at iHeartPodcastAwards.com now through February 22nd. See all the nominees and place your vote at iHeartPodcastAwards.com.
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. Explore the best selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals all in one easy app. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Wisconsin Badger basketball.
Rebound, slam dunk, Nolan Winter. Badgers host Minnesota Wednesday night. Coverage starts at 7:30 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Fox News has dumped away from President Trump's speech. It's pretty much a campaign speech. They were saying there was going to be some serious economic policy in there. I guess the announcement that John Deere was investing $70 million in a new American plant, bringing production back home, was the policy. But it's primarily him just rallying the base about the economy ahead of 2026. Here in 2026, it's actually kind of remarkable how different Democrats sound than they did just a couple of years ago. And when I say just a couple of years ago, I mean like 11 years ago. Hillary Clinton, while running for president in 2015, was asked on CNN about sanctuary cities, just like Minneapolis, and sounded a whole lot different than Democrats do today.
Last week, an undocumented immigrant who had been deported 5 times killed a 32-year-old woman, Kate Steinle, in San Francisco, a sanctuary city where local law enforcement does not enforce federal immigration laws. When you last ran for president, you supported sanctuary cities in light of this terrible incident. Does that change anything about your view on this?
Well, what should be done is any city should listen to the Department of Homeland Security, which, as I understand it, urged them to deport this man again after he got out of prison another time. You know, here's a case where we've deported. He ends back up in our country, and I think the city made a mistake. The city made a mistake not to deport someone that the federal government strongly felt should be deported. So I have absolutely no support for a city that ignores the strong evidence that should be acted on.
Now, of course, Hillary Clinton has taken to X to post a maudlin voice of support for Minneapolis, the exact same sort of city that is refusing to cooperate with federal agents, with the federal government, who strongly believes that a certain set of people, I mean, President Trump, the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, they're holding up their mugshots, for goodness sakes. This wasn't 30 years ago. This was 11 years ago. Every single Democrat was at least pretending to be tough on immigration. We'll have some more of those sound bites. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary's husband, Bill, all of them. Now, Democrats, though, I think realized that there is an impending doom coming in the 2030 census. We just had population estimates for the year 2025 by the Census Bureau released this morning. As a result of that, the American Redistricting Project now projects that Texas and Florida are projected to gain 6 seats and 6 electoral votes, 4 for Texas, 2 for Florida, and 1 each for Arizona, Georgia, Idaho, North Carolina, and Utah. All of those are Republican-leaning states, and Texas and Florida are arguably the 2 most Republican states in the entire country. Where are those seats? Where are those electoral votes coming from? They're being taken away. 4 from California and 1 each from Illinois, Minnesota, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Wisconsin. Democrats understand that they need people in their states. The problem, their policies are so terrible that people have been voting with their feet for years now and fleeing Democrat states for the warmer pastures and greener pastures of Republican states. It's no coincidence that every single one of the states that's losing a congressional representative and losing an electoral vote in 2030 is governed by a Democrat. And the state that's losing the most, meaning it's losing the most people, is California. How have they been trying to combat that? By literally importing people from the third world. Illegal aliens are counted for the purposes of the census. Not only that, even when they don't actually answer the door for a census taker, there are reasonable estimates. There are actually calculations made to try to guess the number of illegals who are in a given state. So it behooves Democrats, even if a single illegal, even if not one of them ever casts a ballot in any election, we know that they actually do, but let's assume for the sake of arguments that they don't. Democrats still gain by virtue of having massive populations of illegals. Here's the thing, though. It is very obvious the framers of the Constitution never intended for non-citizens to vote. The apportionment clause is Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the Constitution. It reads, and I quote, representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states, which may be included within this union according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed 3/5 of all other persons. That's known as the 3/5 compromise, where slaves were counted as 3/5 of a person. There's a clear intent both there and in the 14th Amendment's Section 2 apportionment of representation clause. In the wake of the Civil War, there was a clear intent to count only those persons who are considered to be citizens of the United States. Indians not taxed. They are living in the state, right? They are not paying American taxes. They are not considered to be people for the purposes of census taking. They are not considered to be, I shouldn't say they're not considered to be people. Obviously, they're people, but they're not considered to be citizens for the purposes of congressional apportionment. The fact that they were willing to monkey with the percentage of slaves that they were going to count, and by the way, that is the most misinterpreted and misunderstood portion of the Constitution. It was not racist. In fact, it was designed to combat the power of the slaveholding Democrat states and ultimately get rid of slavery, because if you counted slaves as full people, the slaveholding South would just dominate the abolitionist North. In the 14th Amendment, 2, you are also hearing language that indicates that the framers of that amendment only indicated and intended those who are actually citizens of the state, of the country, to be counted. Okay? What we are hearing in this is, but when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for president and vice president, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced to the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in such state. Again, proportionality and citizenship and apportionment, census taking for the purposes of apportionment, is malleable. The intent there is, back then, it was only male citizens 21 years and older, those who are eligible to vote. Again, you're hearing for the purposes of apportionment, well, maybe if the right to vote is being abridged, we can change this. The idea is always and has always been that you count citizens. Now, the latest court case in 2016, Evenwell v. Abbott, the Supreme Court held that states may use total population, that is all people, legal and illegal, when apportioning state legislative districts, and doing so doesn't violate the Equal Protection Clause. But the court deliberately left open whether a state could choose to base apportionment on any other measures, like people who are of voting age, citizens, registered voters. The court explicitly declined to resolve whether those alternatives would be constitutionally permissible. In fact, it is my very strong suspicion that we can actually change congressional apportionment to citizenship, that you are only counting American citizens, which President Trump wanted to do. And in fact, it is very likely he could, by executive order, simply order. Now, this would, of course, be the next president. It would not be President Trump. It would have to be President J.D. Vance. could explicitly order just by executive fiat, say the Census Bureau, you are only to count American citizens, have it go all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court could very well find that the language of both the apportionments clause in the Constitution and the 14th Amendment both allow for the possibility of citizen-only congressional apportionment. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Southbound 43 stopping and going from
Waukesha and Sussex isn't just for golfers. It's your go-to sports bar, too. Watch your favorite games while playing world-class courses on full swing simulators. Or just stop in for a drink. For more, go to tapingolfbar.com. Need one-stop for advertising? Call 844-IHEART. Dan Voss from Cuttingville here.
A tree planted in 1646 was instrumental to freedom you enjoy today.
For a decade, Sons of Liberty include
Oh, we got a little time now. Let me know when any cut.
gathered under the Liberty Tree for meetings, speeches, and celebrations.
I'm one of us. Makes me wonder what the historical significance trees.
Wow, Lily Voss sounds older now.
Of years from now.
If our oppressors didn't cut the Liberty Tree down, Cuttingville would meticulously manicured for America's 250th anniversary. Cuttingville's remote-controlled, truck-mounted, articulated grapple saw operators will meticulously manicure your trees, removing damaged branches, limbs, even whole trees, getting your property ready to celebrate God's gift, America. Grandyville removes eyesore trip hazard stumps, and Plantville will implement the maximum beauty and benefit new country historic tree planting plan.
Happy 250th anniversary of Tons of Trees movement. CUTNGOtrees.com. That's CuttingvilleTrees.com.
Business owners, want to sell your business? At Lake Country Advisors, our team will meet with you face-to-face and will answer all your questions confidentially. Visit LakeCountryAdvisors.com and schedule a free consultation. Local, experienced, and trusted. We are Lake Country Advisors.
Once again, it's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell alongside Annex's Dr. Brian Jacobson. And Brian, we are just starting earnings season yet again. We also have some serious questions about what the Federal Reserve is going to do with respect to interest rates. Obviously, there is unrest here at home. There are some questions about foreign policy abroad.
Watching. I think that really what the markets are going to be focused on this week. Federal Reserve, we know that the Fed is not likely going to be cutting rates at this meeting, but what sort of questions will Chair Powell get about whether or not he plans on sticking around, even if he's no longer going to be the chair of the Federal Reserve? His term as a governor isn't up until January 2000. Around, or is he going to go into private equity or do something else like that in retirement? And then we have earnings season. Wednesday, after the bell, we get the earnings from Microsoft, Meta, also Tesla. We're curious about the profitability of those firms. Are companies still just spending money hand over fist? And then on Thursday, we get Apple. So it's a big week for the markets. Plenty of things to look at, a lot to focus on.
And if that wasn't enough, we also have the possibility of a government shutdown over ICE funding at the end of the week coming up on Friday. Suffice it to say, there is a whole lot that can impact markets, and there's a whole lot that can impact your bottom line. It's not just this week, it's every week. That's why you need to know what it is that's in your portfolio and why you own it. You need to be working with someone who is working with and for you as a fee-only fiduciary, and you can find them at AnnexWealth.com. For Brian Jacobson, he is the chief economist at Annex. I'm Dan O'Donnell. Thanks so much for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Divergent Family Law offers free consultations for divorce and flat rate quotes so you can make informed decisions about your next steps. Our experienced attorneys are committed to helping you understand your rights and options. Your fair share or better, divergentfamilylaw.com.
That's what it is. It's made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's. This is House Call for Health. Alcohol consumption hitting a new low in the U.S., with 54% of Americans saying they drink in the latest Gallup survey, the lowest rate in 90 years. And that is a new kind of nightcap booming, with many turning to natural supplements for sleep. Sales of these supplements reportedly hitting about $1 billion in 2025. Data showing more than 20% of American adults drink beverages that claim to help with sleep. Experts attribute that in part to the popularity of sleep tracking devices. Many sleep aid brand leaders are saying their sales have been surging in the last year. But some sleep experts say supplements like melatonin and magnesium don't work for everyone. One suggesting that a lot of the over-the-counter supplements are no better than a placebo. Experts recommend checking with your doctor before starting any new supplements, especially if you're taking prescription medication. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Help from us, Brady. Fox News.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management, know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeart radio station, guaranteed human.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Last night, Mount Pleasant Village Board approved site plans for 15 more data centers near Microsoft's existing facility, the former Foxconn site. Village President Dave DeGroot.
Data center AI is an emerging market, and I think that there isn't a better spot for us to be on.
Despite the unanimous vote by the board, some residents remain opposed.
When is enough enough? How many data centers do you want crammed down our throats? 1 or 2 data centers, we can all live with that. 15 to 20, that's significant.
Now, former NPS school aide is pleaded not guilty to a charge of misdemeanor battery.
39-year-old Demetrius Nisvardas is accused of slapping a special needs student after helping her tie her shoes. Investigators say he struggled with an 18-year-old student in November at Riverside University High School. Prosecutors say Nisvardas was helping her in the hallway when he slapped her.
Fox 6's Carl Dettenbaugh. The Fed's first two-day policy meeting of the year is underway. Central Bank is widely expected to announce interest rates remain unchanged. Checking the holiday automotive final exports, Howard Admirals on the home ice tonight. They'll play Rockford at Panther Arena. Puck drops at 7. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels at Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast, presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Becoming partly sunny today, possibly in cold in the teens and wind chills below zero. Temperatures tonight fall just above and below zero, then we're back to teens on Wednesday. Quiet and cold the rest of the week, but there is a chance for lake effect snow on Friday. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barnatello.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling. First Choice Heating and Cooling's new Premier program covers everything. New system installation, all repairs, maintenance, even filters. One simple monthly payment. True worry-free comfort. Call First Choice Heating and Cooling today for details.
I did Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my daily care.
I did Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions. So now goodbye.
And I did Archwell Health to be closer to my neighborhood college. Our members dare us to do more as a primary care provider for adults aged 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell from Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after.
Again, we got about 50 left on any cuts.
Thanks Southeast Wisconsin for making them the #1 choice in same-day electrical services. Do you know the reason so many people choose Current Electric? It's trust, and it's that simple. People trust the Current Electric electricians that come into their homes and perform same-day electrical service and repairs and have for over 40 years. Give the superheroes from Current Electric a chance to earn your trust. You won't be sorry. Go to callcurrent.com.
As a commercial knows, truckers can expect the unexpected when driving. I thought a little heads up like this would still be nice.
You're about to hit and blow a tire on. Afterwards, you'll say, boy, I came out of nowhere, which is funny considering I've been here the whole time. Because I'm a pothole.
Be ready for the unexpected with heavy truck roadside assistance available 24/7 year-round. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to terms and limits. Not available in all states.
Following the attacks on 9/11/01, FDNY firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. Daniel spent months and months searching for victims. Daniel's death was the direct result of 9/11 related cancer. He leaves behind his wife, Carrie, and their children. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. Join us. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Get started with your no-hassle Leaf Life checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Offering one of the strongest lineups of talk show hosts in the history of local radio. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Goldwall Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now your business report from Creative Planning for informational purposes only. Past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. I'm starting with time with Plain Councilor Bill Kelly for closing business report. Major avenues were mixed here. The S&P 500 hitting an all-time high, led by gains in big tech, as investors awaited earnings results and looked ahead to the Fed's first policy decision in 2026. The medical insurance stocks took the hit. After these
30 seconds.
Medicaid services released a proposal to raise the 2077 Medicare Advantage payment rate by just 0.09%, far lower than the 46% increase expected. Shares of United Health, Humana, and CVS Health were all lower on the day. On the day, the Dow was down 408 to 49,003. The S&P 500 rose 28, and the Nasdaq was higher by 215 points. From Creative Planning, I'm Joe Still.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, final hour of the program, and that means one last chance today to win $1,000 in the Cold Hard Cash Contest. Be like Kathy from Eagle. She was listening to us in the 5 o'clock hour yesterday. She won $1,000 because she entered the keyword. Her entry was picked at random. She's now $1,000 richer. We are very happy for Kathy, and we'd be even happier if we made it back-to-back winners in the 5 o'clock hour. Your word this hour, bonus, BONUS bonus. You have got until 5:55 to go to our website and enter the keyword bonus to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, a nice little $1,000 bonus is in your pocket. If you would like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show, 414-799-1130 is our adventknows.com talk and text line. Email me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Facebook, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Instagram, on YouTube, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. We are continuing to have some audio issues as well as now some video issues with the stream. So it is very possible we're going to end it early. I think I've got to do a little TLC on the Dano Cam. But if you cannot hear or see us, just be sure to follow the show on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just download the Dan O'Donnell Show. Sign up for automatic downloads and actually add us to the what do you have? What do they call it? A dashboard, presets. Hold on. I'm going to my iHeart app right now. It's the number one preset on your iHeartRadio app. Well, I've got WISN, I've got WIBA, I've got the Dan O'Donnell Show, I've got the Mark Belling Show, Jay Weber. Is it just me, or do we not have the Jason Gotch podcast up yet? I cannot find it. Am I doing something wrong here? Yeah, look, Jason Gotch. I'm not seeing it. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. All right, hold on. I just added the Jason Gotch Show to my preset along with Ben Yount, who is already there, Vicky McKenna as well. I've also got some randos like Ben Shapiro is up there. I listen to Ben quite a bit, and that's kind of it. And Fox Sports Radio, because during football season, I will listen to it's the Fox Sports Blitz, I think they call it. It's all of the football games. They'll like go live to the ones where they have the play-by-play access to, and they'll just kind of keep you up. It's sort of like the radio version of NFL Red Zone. And I listen to that while I'm doing yard work. And I'm sure you needed to know that. All right. We can is not just a motivational phrase. It is also the acronym of the Wisconsin Education Career Access Network. It was started in 2001 to help educators search for teaching jobs across Wisconsin and to streamline applicants as well as open jobs. So basically, if you're an educator or if you're an educational institution, you go on this WeCan network and you find a job. Would you believe that not only are the libs who run the WeCan network standing with Minneapolis, they are actually standing with the literal fraudulent daycare centers. I wish I was kidding. This email went out from Corrine with WeCan, ways to support communities in Minnesota. This is Corrine, and I have been in personal contact with small business owners and child care educators in Wisconsin, asking how we in Wisconsin can best support them. Their response was because of the USDA's decision to cut funding to the food pantry statewide network. It could use donations. Second, the Immigrant Defense Fund is working hard on behalf of those in Minnesota whose rights are being denied. Immigrant Defense Network. Here is other information with several options to ask for and give help that I received from another leader in Minnesota. Here is an article that outlines numerous ways to support immigrant communities in the Twin Cities. They are also urging you to call your senator, Tammy Baldwin, and tell her not to oppose the funding of ICE. She is also telling you at the county and local level, meet with sheriffs and local police chiefs and ask how they, or if they cooperate with ICE, meet with candidates running for sheriff as well and ask them. They're also encouraging educators to sign a petition calling on Congress to stop raids and workplace surveillance that disrupt local business, require real oversight and accountability for DHS and ICE, protect workers, customers, and business districts from enforcement, blah, 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 blah. The big thing that stood out to me is that she is looking to support the fraudulent daycare centers, the child care educators, asking how we can help here in Wisconsin. I just found that absolutely hysterical, since early child care has been a massive source of fraud. And it's not just child care, and it's not just Somali daycare operators. It is, in fact, also almost certainly the Somali congresswoman who represents the Minneapolis area, Ilhan Omar. Benny Johnson, who is a conservative talk show host, he does not terrestrial radio, but he does a webcast. He does a really nice guy. I met him where else? At the RNC in the summer of 2024. And really, really good dude. I told him I was always a fan. I always followed him on X because he always has great video clips that I invariably use in my show. He's very gracious, very, very good guy. He did an incredibly deep dive. He took a look at a business that Ilhan Omar claims to own with her third husband. It's a winery, and it doesn't actually appear to be a real business. Yet it last year reported, at least she reported on her campaign finance documents, on her personal income filings, that it made $5 million. As the kids say, make it make sense. Here's Benny. Really? How does that happen? This has got to be just an incredibly successful business, right? Goes from almost no revenue in 2023 to $5 million in 2024. Wow. That's fantastic. Well, Johnson did a little digging. First, he went to the winery's social media. Last Facebook post, early January of 2023. Same thing with Instagram. Now, that's very weird, right? I mean, you'd think this is a booming business. Out of nowhere, it just starts going gangbusters. Everybody knows in this day and age, you really have to have a robust presence on social media in order to get your word out there. Okay, well, maybe they're not doing anything with social media. Maybe they're just doing all their marketing through their website. So Johnson went to their website. Sure looks that way, doesn't it? The address that's listed on the website is rather obviously not a winery. It appears to be a parking lot for some other business. The website doesn't actually have any contact information that links to a live person. There is no other presence. I actually looked up this winery this afternoon to see if there was another. They go to a different website or it's a different name. Nothing. It's a fraudulent business. This is absolutely 100% fraud. Trump administration is investigating. Totally racist, right? Completely racist. I mean, she's Somali, she's black, she's a big critic of the president. Obviously, this is, retaliation. What if I told you that according to the New York Times, the Biden Justice Department was the one that actually opened up the probe into Ilhan Omar's finances? The story: the Justice Department under the Biden administration opened an investigation into Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, in 2024 to scrutinize her finances campaign spending, and interactions with a foreign citizen, according to people with knowledge of the matter. The inquiry, initiated by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington and the department's Public Integrity Unit in June of that year, appears to have stalled for lack of evidence, according to one of the people who requested anonymity to discuss internal department matters. Lack of evidence? How the hell is it that Benny Johnson, of all people, was able to find pretty compelling evidence that she's running a winery that doesn't actually sell any wine? The investigation appeared to be thrust into the public spotlight on Monday when President Trump blindsided department officials by posting about it on Truth Social, singling out Ms. Omar. It was part of a rambling statement announcing a shakeup of the team overseeing immigration raids in Ms. Omar's Minneapolis district that misspelled her name. New York Times never changed. The DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. He wrote, "Time will tell all." It was not clear whether Mr. Trump was referring to another investigation altogether or how he arrived at the $44 million figure that is, in fact, accurate. Her net worth is now somewhere north of $30 million. And of course, the New York Times story then shifts its focus, not to the revelation, hey, wow, her fraud was so bad that it even caught the attention of the Justice Department under Joe Biden, but then obviously was killed as quickly as it started. Oh, yeah, boss, we just couldn't find any evidence. They were inventing crimes to get Trump, but they couldn't find the fraudulent winery that a conservative influencer was able to dig up in about a day and a half. Okay. Coming up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, an exclusive investigation. How is it that the nation's economy turned around so quickly? And yes, libs, it most definitely did turn around quickly. Inflation is back to normal, and we're looking at 5% GDP for the fourth quarter of 2025 and the first quarter of 2026. Real personal income is up. Tax breaks are going to put money in people's pockets. Could it be that the single biggest decline in net immigration in American history is having a massive economic impact, and that impact is overwhelmingly positive? We investigate next.